Yes, indeed, Alden, we've lost a very inspirational leader, and I want to extend my condolences to his family and friends, to the ANC, his political home. You know, he really was a committed public servant, and we've seen him, especially during COVID-19 pandemic, how he navigated the finances of our country and indeed made the social distress of relief grant available. He was also a very good labor minister. As a trade unionist myself, he was there to spearhead the basic conditions of employment and make it law in our country, the Employment Equity Act. And indeed, he will surely be missed.
Yeah, speak to us, Minister, about that particular period, especially with COVID-19, because now he had agreed, of course, to come back as Minister in 2018. This is after Nhlanhla Nene's resignation, and then COVID-19 happened. But earlier on, I was in conversation with the Trevor Manuel, the former finance minister, and he was very critical around how Treasury at the time was not able to deal with the rampant corruption that was playing out with the PPE scandals and so forth. You were part of Cabinet. Can you take us into your confidence about what the discussion in Cabinet would have been to deal with corruption and also the implementation of the Fusion Centre to deal with exactly that?
Well, Alden, what I can tell you is that as Cabinet, we met every single week. And we made an assessment and the impact of COVID-19 on our economy, on our finances, thousands of our people that have died. And we had to formulate a response that could mitigate the impact of COVID-19 on our nation. And yes, indeed, we did. We did find the money through Minister Mboweni to put money aside for the PPEs and to also steer our economy with the massive impact COVID had. But, you know, the crooks are always one step ahead of government. While we were fighting the pandemic, people saw it fit to go and steal from the money allocated to the PPEs. And we only became aware about that as we were rolling out the PPE campaign. And indeed, even today, still some of these cases are before court. But there was no ways that we could have predicted that the crooks will steal the money that's meant to save lives.
Mm-hmm. And what was his attitude to the consequences that should flow from that?
He was very angry, you know, and as we all know him, he was a man who spoke his mind. He always spoke truth to power. And he didn't mince his words when he was expressing his disappointment about him having to go and find the resources to buy the PPE. And then in some provinces, it was totally abused. No, he was very, very upset about it.
Yeah, and somebody who's always spoken out against government spending, especially when sometimes unnecessarily so. And right now we look at the Government of National Unity, which you are part of, which is an extended government, goes against the commitment that was made before. And even under him, where we're saying that a smaller cabinet indeed, but also a smaller public service. If you look in terms of the number of people that are employed in the public service and vis-a-vis the value for money that citizens are getting out of that.
Well, he also spearheaded the economic reconstruction and recovery plan that Cabinet adopted in November of 2020. And he clearly identified the sectors that could help us to stimulate economic growth and to grow our economy. And it was very difficult because already the fiscus was in a bad space. Corruption was rampant in our country. And he navigated us through those difficult times. Now, today, yes, with hindsight, there's always better side. He did speak about the size of the cabinet. He did speak about, you know, the spend within government. He spoke a lot about the leakages, and he actually had given every department a plan how to stop the leakages within government. So yes, he was really against leakages and corruption. But the size of the cabinet has been determined by the president. That is his own prerogative. And as the government of national unity, the lesson for us is that we mustn't waste this opportunity. We have got 5 years to design the future and present a plan to the nation that can really grow the economy. And I hope that, you know, all of us will put our political differences aside and put our country first.
Yeah, and that's really important about putting the country first. And as you say, that hindsight is the perfect science. If we look back at his opposition to having a national carrier with the flag, SAA, he said that we don't need SAA, the country doesn't need SAA. In your current role now as Minister of Tourism, in hindsight, would you say maybe that was the wrong call and it was the right decision for government under the leadership of President Cyril Ramaphosa to go on and not sell off SAA?
Well, first of all, both the late Minister Pravin Gordhan and now our late Minister Tito Mboweni, the two of them during the period of COVID and the corruption at SAA and just, you know, the destruction of SAA, they were finally able to guide cabinet on a plan that could see us at least retaining the carrier's name, the flag of South Africa. And in that sense, they were successful. But again, it was because of the impact of corruption, the board of SAA, and the bailouts of SAA over the years. He didn't like these bailouts. He didn't agree with the bailouts because as the Minister of Finance, he had to take money from Peter to pay Paul. So I think that now we can learn from those lessons if we've made mistakes. It's human to make mistakes, but if you learn from your mistakes, we can take the country forward.
Yeah. Let's quickly speak on your current role as Minister of Tourism, the white paper that has now been released as well, some reaction to it. Yes. And maybe, Minister, an opportunity to clarify what some of the proposals are. I see that one of the issues that has also been highlighted is a police unit that will focus on tourists or tourism or the tourism sector. How different would that be to the tourism monitors that was set up to respond to exactly that issue relating to crime?
I think what the white paper give guidance on is that finally we hope to get to a situation in our country where you've got dedicated police at especially the hotspots around the country, at all our assets, you know, where tourists go there a lot. But we also understand that crime is affecting the whole of South Africa, and that the Minister of Police, we support his strategy fully, whereby he's pulling the resources of national, province, and local government together to respond to the crisis of crime in our country. So yes, that's where we would love to have as the outcome. But for now, we do have a plan that we presented last year. Department of Tourism put in 174 million rand to employ 2,300 young people as tourism monitors. So it's a work in progress. And also the private sector has made a massive contribution also in trying to help us to build safety around our tourism attractions like Table Mountain, the Kruger National Park. And we regret the attack on any tourist, whether it's domestic or international. And we need to continue to work together as all three spheres of government to continue to make sure that tourists come back. But even despite all of this, Alden, we have seen a massive increase and we've seen the growth of tourism. just the first quarter of this financial year of 2024, tourism contributed 8.8% direct and indirect to the GDP, which was more than mining, transport, and construction. So it's not the one or the other. We need to keep the tourists safe. We need to improve our marketing. We need to partner more with the private sector so that we can, at least when we market our country, give the assurance to potential tourists that we have got a plan to keep them safe whilst they are in our country.
Yeah. Do you know as yet how much such a unit will cost the state and the state's fiscus? But also the other end is, how do you sell it to South Africans to say that we're going to have a dedicated unit that is going to focus on tourism and crime in the tourism sector when South Africans themselves don't feel safe already?
No, I agree with you 100%. That is why the cooperation with the police, it is their mandate to keep all South Africans safe, including our visitors. And the white paper is giving us direction to work towards such a unit. If at all we get the agreement of the Department of Police. And so the discussions have started around how and what more can we do in partnership as tourism with SAPS to make sure that we increase the safety not only of tourists but also of ordinary South Africans.
Okay, so for now we don't have a budget for that.
No, we have not reached that yet, Aldrin.
Okay, then thank you so much for your time. That
Thank
is
you.
The tourism minister, who's also the good party leader on the reflection of Tito Mboweni, the former finance minister who died last night at the age of 65, but also the white paper that has now been made public on the tourism sector.